Hello everyone, welcome to Eternal Brews. My name is Pojo and I wanted to give you a little look at the deck we've been messing around with in the lower ranks. I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. I don't think it's particularly competitive, but it is just a really fun deck to play, so I wanted to show it off and have a pretty good time with it. So this is a 5-color crown deck. We've played around with this archetype quite a bit, but I was really inspired by all of the fun Echo Makto decks that are coming around. I think we'll have to do a brew on those pretty shortly, but the basic idea is that if you give Inquisitor Makto Echo, then every time that his revenge, which of course never ends, triggers, he gets to draw an extra copy of himself with Destiny, and as such, it's very hard to stop the Maktos from replicating at extremely fast rates. What we eventually found with this particular version of the deck, which was designed to use Crown of Possibilities to give Makto all of those skills, was that Makto was a little too slow for the deck, and so instead of running one of him, or 4 of him, we have one of him, one Jekk the Bounty Hunter for a little bit of sort of interesting fixer, one Nictotraxian for the fun Nicto crown control stuff that is just so delightful for all of that, and then 2 Rise to the Challenge to pick those cards up if we feel that they're necessary for the late game. But where this crown deck primarily shines is not in the whole setup of twinning ritual of large units. It is instead set up with Piercing Grief, the Lifesteal Revenge charge unit, and Star of the Grief Roaches deck, and Stonepowder Alchemist, the 4-cost 2/2 with Lifesteal and Revenge that deals 2 damage to the enemy player. Now, these 2 cards provide you with a lot of the stabilization and general damage that the deck needs to sort of put your opponent a little bit more on the defensive and also make sure that you survive a lot of the early aggro. We are using Lightning Storms and Harsh Rules to clear the board at regular intervals, but in between that we need to fill with certain amounts of life gain to make sure that we don't get overwhelmed by the board. So what we're primarily trying to do is we're trying to play Piercing Grief and Stonepowder Alchemist. And as luck would have it, these are also the win conditions for our deck. If you give Piercing Grief or Stonepowder Alchemist Echo, or if you give them a bunch of skills off Crown of Possibilities, then they will draw copies of themselves off of their revenges. And in addition, we can use Dark Return to play multiple copies of them at a time. So for example, if you get a Piercing Grief with Quick Draw and Unblockable, and maybe like it is a 3/1 and it gets Echo, then you can play the Piercing Griefs X2. You will draw 4 of them from your deck when they die, and then after that, every time you Dark Return, you'll get an even bigger one that you draw 2 extra copies of. And in addition, every time that you draw them or play them off of the draw using Destiny, you get a skill for them, which tends to help out a lot when setting up with Crown of Possibilities. The other thing that's really fun is getting double damage on Stonepowder Alchemist. That's one of my absolute favorites, but you can also give these units Deadly so that they can defend you. You can give them Killer so that they can give you small little bits of life gain, which tends to be very helpful, as well as like knocking smaller units off the board. And then like just continuing to Echo and Revenge these units tends to provide enough push for the deck to do its job. I found that Makto, while often giving you a guaranteed awesome endgame, was just not necessary for this deck's endgame to really trigger, because Crown of Possibilities is doing a lot of grunt work here. Beyond that, we have 4 copies of Twinning Ritual. I'm not running a second sight in this deck, instead choosing to focus on Quarry since we're in 5 colors. Second sight does allow us to trigger the abilities on our units a lot more often, but Quarry allows us to essentially smooth out our draws while also accelerating the possibility of playing a good Crown or one of our later game cards or our Harsh Rules. If we can play a turn 4 Harsh Rule, that can often be the difference between a game loss and a game win. So we fiddle around with Quarry just because it allows us to dig a little bit deeper into our deck without putting anything back on top of it, and it makes it easier to access our revenge units. I also sometimes use Scheme for this, but in this case the schemes have been replaced with Rise to the Challenge. And Rise to the Challenge not only draws extremely well for you, it can do things like give you a 5/1 Piercing Grief or a 4/2 Stonepowder Alchemist, and it can pick out any particular solution that you need. If you just need extra cards, you go Nicto. If you need to answer a very particular threat, Jekk the Bounty Hunter. And if you want the infinite Makto combo, you can just throw that out. So yeah, this deck is a delight to play. All of the games that I've played with it so far have been just so much fun, and we're going to show off a few games with it and just sort of demonstrate how it works. It is fun, unreliable, but just an absolute delight to play. So let's go ahead and jump into some games. All right, for our opener, we have access to 2 Lightning Storms. We have 2 Twinning Rituals. I kind of like this hand. It's only 2 power, and I can't play Quarry off of it. But these 3 colors are the most important to get early. We really want white, blue, and we want green. I am not on the draw here, which gives me some pause, but it's pretty tempting. I think we'll have to throw this back because there's just no action in the early hand. All right. So this is a little more ambitious. It's more likely to actually play something, which is good. We don't have access to red at the moment. We are specifically looking to play Piercing Grief early and get away with that. Oh, and nice, we actually found some red. So we get to play Piercing Grief here. You generally want to play your revenge units as soon as possible, get them filtered into your deck, and get them working. Generally, as long as you are spending time pushing on your opponent and giving them a little bit of aggression, it makes them far more likely to play defensively.
It's written right here.
Alright. Got a fly buzzing around up top here. Ah, okay. Cool, so Find the Way here will get me whatever I want. I think I'm probably going to go for a second green, because that's a pretty important milestone. Sets up the finest hour, or sorry, the harsh rule, amongst other things. And then from there, we can play our Stonepowder Alchemist and get to work.
Rest here, traveler.
Sanctuary Priest is generally designed for Life Force decks, but this deck appears to be Elysian, so I'm not sure I care about it. It's okay that he has it, and indeed, I guess if I'm worried about Xenon Obelisk, we Storm here. Otherwise, I'd feel pretty safe not doing that. There's 2 good options for me here. One of them is to rise to the challenge for Piercing Grief, draw a card. The other one is to play Stonepowder Alchemist. I think I'm going to play Stonepowder Alchemist here. And that'll give us a really nice trade.
Focus, child.
Alright, this looks like a Shimmer Pack style deck, so killing the tokens will be important later. We're not there yet, though. First things first, let's go ahead and grab our double shadow. That's the remaining colors that we need. This deck only needs double green, blue, a single shadow, a single time, and a single fire. And you want the double shadow for Makto, but nothing else. So we're pretty okay as far as setting up goes. I think here I'm going to attack for 2. We'll give him the opportunity to double block us. And he didn't. I don't want to rise for anything too crazy. I think I'm probably going to pick up an Elysian Pathfinder here. And then we can put that on Piercing Grief, get ourselves a good start.
On your feet, wanderer.
Devoted Theurge is more life gain. So this deck is slowly getting some work done. I'm going to attack with the Stonepowder Alchemist again. If we get the block, we get the block. And we just storm everything out.
They're coming.
But getting Pathfinder on the Piercing Grief is super important. And if it does in fact hit the Piercing Grief, that's especially good for me, since we can rise to the challenge and get 2 5/1 Piercing Griefs. This deck doesn't need Crown to survive. The Echo off Pathfinder alone is extremely powerful in this aspect, so I think we have a pretty good run ahead of us. Alright, we got the Echo Griefs. Oh, that's actually a different set of Echo Griefs, which is a little bit sad, because it means that we're not going to get everything that we want, but it actually means 4x Griefs, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's go ahead and go Piercing Grief, Piercing Grief. And we'll swing like crazy and Lightning Storm afterwards. If he decides to just block a bunch of stuff here, Lightning Storm here. He's got something. Oh, interesting. So this deck seems like it's probably going for some sort of life game theme. Might actually be doing Hall of Lost Kings, in which case we're in grand shape. But we'll just Jekk the Bounty Hunter that and get ourselves a little bit further in. That attack would be very interesting. Alright. I can Twinning Ritual Jekk if I choose to. That'll give me 2 copies of him, and I think that's pretty cool. The other option here is to rise to the challenge for the Echo Piercing Greaves, which will create a bit of a stink. I think I'm really into that. So yeah, let's Twinning Ritual Jekk and then Echo Rise. I could have waited on Twinning Ritualing Jekk. I should have risen first and seen what I got off the draw. So that ordering actually feels a little wrong to me. But Destiny, Echo, Revenge, Charge. We want the Echo once. That gives us 2 5/1 Echo Destiny Piercing Greaves. And 2 more cards. Harsh Rule's a pretty good one. Alright. And everything dies, and now we can Harsh Rule whatever he wants to set up on board. Now, at this point,
The speaker approaches.
this is the strength of the deck without Crown. At this point, our victory condition is a Dark Return, because we Harsh Rule, we Dark Return the Piercing Greaves, and we have suddenly 12 points of damage on an empty board. That's really, really strong this early. My opponent just gaining life. He's got a Tessia Omen Shaper on top of his deck, so he's not going to be drawing his power anytime soon. And beyond that, I think we're good to go. We get to Quarry. Look for that Dark Return. Found Stonepowder, Alchemist, and Piercing Grief both. That's a little bit unfortunate. This is not an Echo unit, so I don't really need to throw this one. We'll just get the Stonepowder Alchemist.
Another late night.
And the second Stonepowder Alchemist is very tempting. I think I like that more than I like playing Find a Way.
Make each bullet count.
We're just going to keep slowly chipping away at his health. We've dealt a lot of damage. He's already healed himself for a good 6, 7, plus 4, plus the Sanctuary Priest. He's healed himself for about 15 or so. And these Excavates aren't going to make life any better for him.
Focus, child.
Talir's favored, setting up some time. Tessia's still on top. So he'll actually be able to play Tessia next turn. And I don't love that Dispel. That's not great for me. I think at this point we're pretty happy to attack in, get our damage, and then just go. I could also play the next Stonepowder Alchemist, which wouldn't be a terrible plan. We'll grab a power here. And I'll play Stonepowder Alchemist to get the 2 points of damage. I want him to play Tessia before I Harsh Roll. But if he doesn't, that's fine. We have him down to 9. So Find the Way is going to be particularly impressive.
My treasure, the dragon's eye.
Alright, Explorer Emeritus means that we are definitely going to Harsh Roll next turn. Sand Viper. Okay, so I'm going to Find the Way here because I don't really need to play any more power. I'll attack with everything. Get our 4 health in, and then Harsh Roll. I'd expect to see basically blocks everywhere. He should know that this is an indicator for a Harsh Roll, so... But he chooses to preserve his units, so
This ends now.
as a result, there we go. Alright, so I have 59 health, my opponent has 7. Things are looking pretty dire, and I've got plenty of time to go. Seeing a lot of life gain cards here. And finally we have access to a crown. That's the thing that I'm really looking for. Go ahead and do our seeking. Grab some remaining power, and then we can use Jekk to silence these life gainers. He's still got a Tessia.
Light follows the darkness.
Depending on how much I care about his Amoran Camel, I might want to actually silence that and then trade with Jekk. Ah, but here's the Echo with Destiny. That's got charge.
Another late night.
And follow up with Jekk.
Who's the target?
Attack for a full 8. And that's the game. So yeah, the crown, not particularly necessary there. We were able to do everything we needed to do just with Rise to the Challenge. And with Jekk. So good stuff. Lots of fun to play. Alright. Next up, let's see if we can get some crown decks, like some actual crown plays in here. Gotta record a few more. Alright, here we are up against Laska. Seat of Cunning, Justice Sigil, Find the Way, Seat of Cunning. And this is pretty reasonable. I like the deck pretty well, but the main problem here is that I do not have that much access. Like, we have Piercing Grief and Stonepowder Alchemist, and that's a pretty good start. I say with the early action, we probably keep this hand. It's very nice to play Piercing Grief early, and all we need is like a Seek power or a time to find the Way, at which point we have all of the power we could ever need. Alright, it's a Skycrag Row deck. These decks are pretty easy to Lightning Storm out for the most part. So we'll take a quick lick.
Wield the flame.
Oh, Hellhounds. Hellhounds are a little bit harder to Lightning Storm out. Swing with our Piercing Grief, get some life back. He'll go ahead and take that. But now he's got 8 presenting, so we're going to have to find some good answers soon. The good news is I have double green, so I'll have access to Harsh Rule without a lot of issues. The bad news is that this is still a lot of damage. Alright, second Piercing Grief makes a lot of sense. Each of these cards represents 6 health gain, which is a good way to sort of slowly stabilize. Beyond that, I really need Stonepowder Alchemist down, and once I have Stonepowder Alchemist down, I think I'm pretty happy. Second Snowcrust ain't doing me any favors.
Make each bullet count.
This looks like it's gonna get torched, but I still get 2 health off of it. Okay, so we're gonna need to storm pretty soon, and I really need a double storm. If I can find the second lightning storm, I can wipe his whole board. Unfortunately, I'm already at 5, so life is pretty desperate. Seek power, not gonna do it for me. And that'll be game. Deck does not fare that well against super hyper aggro unless we have ways to storm or harsh rule out. Alright, here we roll again. I've got Seat of Wisdom, Seat of Progress, I've got Seek Power, and I have some Rise to the Challenges to pick up units if I want them. So that should be a pretty good start. I'm feeling pretty happy about this, and we'll just try and do what we can. I think I'm going to go for Elysian Pathfinder right off the bat. The earlier we can play that down, the better off we are. I have Harsh Rule, so we're going to have access to some good early stuff. We'll grab our blue, and that will allow us to play Crown when we need to. Beyond that, we're going to be playing... oh, I needed red for Rise to the Challenge, so that might have been a better option. Twinning Ritual versus Rise. I think I do prefer Rise here. There's a Primal Sigil. And there's our second twinning ritual. So let's go ahead and just play the Primal. And I am looking for some red. My opponent is playing something slow and Skycrag. Slow Skycrag's not terribly common. I wonder if we'll see a Vadius here. Nope, nothing along those lines. Alright, I'll play the Seed of Wisdom. We're not going to give away the green yet, or give away the shadow yet. That'll give him a better idea of what my deck is. So, we'll hold on to it and just hide it for the moment. Alright. Now at this point I can either twin Stonepowder Alchemists and get extra copies of them, or I can play one and just start going to town. I think I want to just play one here. We'll attack in, and then we will harsh rule the board if we feel like it. At the moment, I'm gaining 2 for every 5 I'm losing, which I honestly don't hate that much, but that discount is what really kills us here. Alright, 1 rock slide. I found myself a Lightning Storm, which is not a card I particularly want. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Harsh Roll. We don't want to run into like a Malat Nikova.
This ends now.
That ends 1 unit, but beyond that, I think we're looking okay. Okay. My opponent didn't play anything. I'm very curious what his hand is like. Seat of Vengeance gets us a little bit more power, and I need to draw some units. Find the way will allow me to draw some units. Go ahead and pick up a fire. And we will rise. And from what we rise for, we can pick up quite a few different units. I have 2 twinning rituals right now, so I think what I want to do is actually Nictotraxian. Good stuff. Now we've got our own Ashara the Deadshot, and we can twinning ritual away. Torch there. Looks like he's kind of running out of good stuff. I'm going to seek power for whatever. Grab a shadow. Play Ashara.
Sweetheart.
And twinning ritual nicked. I should have twinning ritual nicked first. Ordering wise, I wanted to actually see what the card was. Alright. Second torch happens. And we have a Savage Stranger, which is yet another torch target. There goes Stonepowder Alchemist. And there is our crown. Let's go ahead and twin Nicked again. This time we have a Lifesteal Nicto. And our very own Champion of Progress. Which means that I should be grabbing Justice in time. Grab the Justice. Ooh, if I get 1 more Justice, I'll have a 12-12 killer. That feels pretty good to me. Seek power there. So, Libra Smort. Oh, man. Oh, man. Alright. Let's see here. I'm going to twin Nicto again. We got ourselves an Aegis and a Caldera and Cradle. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Lifesteal Aegis Nicto. Just get a nice good start on that. Cradle's gonna be pretty good to me. I have plenty of stuff going on. I'm not sure what his deck's doing. He's got Lightning Storms. And he's got Polymorphs. I'm a little sad about the Polymorph in particular.
The shadows hide us.
Savage Stranger there is asking for a torch. I'm terribly curious if he is a Cradle deck that just hasn't found its Cradle. I think that's what's going on. He's got a lot of spells. Alright, Find the Way's not going to get me any more green. This attack looks fine, though. As far as Rise goes, we're going to go ahead and fetch ourselves the Elysian Pathfinder.
They're coming.
Because that'll get a start on whatever delightful combo we want to do next. Ah, it's Knucklebones. Alright, I think we can beat out Knucklebones. What do you think? Go ahead and attack in. Play Nicto. I forget if I've got any... Yeah, I do have enough left for another Find Away. And then we just play the Depleted Shadow. And we'll see how far he can get. He's got to deal with a 12-10 and a 5-3. I've got Echo units. I have a very big Champion of Cunning, or Champion of Progress. I think we're going to have a good time. Second Sight was drawn off of his Knucklebones. Mercado Banner was in his hand. Polymorph was in his hand. So that's one less card in his hand. Cloudsnake Hatchling, not doing a lot. Unstable Form, definitely not doing a lot. And that is just not much working for him. Alright, we'll go ahead and attack in with everything. I want to see those blocks. Cool. And I'm going to be drawing more cards than him, I think. Two Aegis dudes should be a pretty good time. He's drawing 2 cards a turn, but I am, I think, just running on Echo units for quite a while. Unstable Form pops the 3-3. Found a Purify off of the Knucklebones. And his hand is now out of, I believe, any new cards from Knucklebones. So we're going to Quarry here. Nice, we found Echo Grief, which is just absolutely what I want to have. So let's play them both. Swing for lethal. And that'll do it. Good stuff. Alright. Alright. So, we have not much going on here. This is one more game trying to get a better round than the last one. I had somebody who just quit as soon as they saw the Echo Stonepowder Alchemist, so we'll just go ahead and play a Seed of Vengeance and see what we can do. I did get all of the necessary colors. I do not have Crown, but beyond that, this hand is pretty perfect. So we'll just play that out, and I can either find the way for more power, or I can play Piercing Grief immediately. I think I kind of like the find the way for more power plan for the moment. Let's go ahead and grab the green that we need. And since I don't need to play anything else, I can just play the Depleted Sigil right now. And then I need to find the way for red. Elysian Pathfinder is awesome here. So we'll find the way for red. And then I'll play Pathfinder, and we can Echo Twinning Ritual and have ourselves a time. He's playing pretty slow Xenon control, so I'm not in any particular hurry.
They're coming.
There's Pathfinder. All we really need to do here is develop out a bigger board than whatever he's running. He's very likely to have access to Banish, so Crown is not my key card here. What really helps me out here is if we have access to bigger stuff. I might attack in here and just Lightning Storm. I feel pretty comfy that I could kill that. Yeah, that's a reasonable use of my time. Beyond that, I've got 3 Twinning Rituals, so if I wanted to like Crown, Twinning Ritual, Piercing Grief, that might be good. So I would really like to actually get that Crown.
The speaker approaches.
Voice of the Speaker. Not a card I particularly care about. I think I'm going to hold on to the Twinning Rituals. I've got card advantage coming, so we'll just wait. I'm willing to let him try to develop out his board. Going for Mystic Ascendance. That's a card that I'll have to deal with, so we do have to harsh roll that. Quarry here. I've got Echo Piercing Grief, and I've got a Nictotraxian. Ooh, that's interesting. I think we definitely go for Piercing Griefs. That's going to be really strange. We'll harsh roll here.
This ends now.
Oh, this is gonna be a heck of a game. Let me think about how this works. I think it's gonna be pretty straightforward, honestly. Twinning Ritual. Twinning Ritual. Twinning Ritual. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. I'm just gonna discard this Piercing Grief. Okay. So this is lethal, I'm pretty sure? I'm just... I grab my shadow here. Okay, he can block 6. So I've got 10, 16, 24. That's not quite enough, I think, to kill him in one go. So what I want to do here is I want a Twinning Ritual again. Get one bigger. And then we're going to... Oh, shoot. Do we end our turn or do we go for it? So if I end my turn, the jig is up. What do I have right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll have to discard. All right. I'm gonna attack for 3. We'll see if he figures out what's up. I'm guessing he will. He cannot live. There's no way. Like, this is over. What you got? Okay. All right. So there's that. This deck is full of exciting surprises. It never really wins the same way twice, and that's what's fun about it. I would not say, again, that this is a competitive deck, but come on. I'm delighted. Okay, that was a great one, too. Oh, we're Justice level 50. Well, there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will be looking at another variation of this deck very soon, so I don't think I'm going to do a post-mortem for it. We might even post some more play-arounds with this. I think it's going to be a delightful time. But yeah, feel free to like or subscribe if you liked this, and of course we will have more brews coming. In addition, I am still doing card breakdowns for all of the upcoming set The Dusk Road, so expect more of those this week as well. Yeah, it's going to be a delightful time. Have a really good night. See you later.